What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best. And in today's video, we have some news and some information regarding the update that we'll be getting later today for the new patch in Tekken 8. As you all know, as we've talked about many times, obviously Season 2 didn't leave the best first impression on most players. We got a couple of good patches and things are trending in a very good direction. And we also are fresh off of Combo Breaker, which in my opinion was probably the best tournament that we've gotten for Tekken 8 thus far. We've had some great events between EWC, obviously TWT Finals, the EVO Japan and everything like that. But I think my favorite event that we've had in all of Tekken 8 up to this point is the most recent Combo Breaker event. That being said, very early this morning or late last night, depending on how you look at it, the official Tekken 8 Twitter dropped a link to the balance adjustment policy for version 2.02, which is the patch that we'll be getting later today. And I debated about whether or not I should just wait for, the patch notes and everything, because we will be going under maintenance tonight and getting a new patch. But I figured this would probably still be worth taking a look at. And I figured if I'm going to take a look at it, I should record myself doing so in the event that I figure it's worth, covering for a video. So here we are, Tekken 8 version 2.02 balance adjustment policy. And let's just get right into it. So, shared balance adjustment policy for version 2.02 and version 2.03. Following the previous update, version 2.01, we will continue addressing moves with excessively high return relative to risk, which, as I've said, is one of my biggest complaints and issues with Tekken 8. That was the driving force that inevitably got me to stop playing Dragon Ball FighterZ. Most of you know that's the game that I came up playing, and it just got to a point where you would just flail and just get rewarded very heavily for doing things that had little to no risk, and I just found that very annoying and cumbersome. So anyway, high performance moves that can repeatedly create advantageous situations, leading to one-sided gameplay, and we still see a decent amount of that, but it is starting to finally get toned down. Balance adjustments will prioritize moves with particularly high impact based on player feedback and match data. In consideration of several major esports tournaments scheduled in August, large-scale balance adjustments are expected to conclude with version 2.03. However, we will continue monitoring the competitive environment after version 2.03 and consider further adjustments as needed. So their plan is that they don't want to shake up the game too much more after the patch that's coming in July, I assume, which will be the 2.03 patch, because in August and moving forward, they want to, have things, have a stable version of the game for players to adjust to and learn and play on, for the tour and any majors and everything like that, which makes sense. So hopefully these next two patches are really good ones. Now, balance adjustment policy for version 2.02. Patch notes are scheduled to be released around 10:30 a.m. JST on Tuesday, June 3rd. So that's later today. So I might have another video coming later tonight. I should be streaming as well by the time that the notes go live. So I might go over them on stream and then make a recap video after the fact or whatever. The upcoming update version 2.02, scheduled for release on Tuesday, June 3rd, will include further adjustments aimed at optimizing the overall balance between offense and defense. In addition to the shared policy above, we will revise certain aspects of the heat system to prevent it from having an excessive impact on match flow. Adjustment to heat timer consumption for certain moves. Some moves that consume remaining heat timer have had a disproportionate impact on the balance of offense and defense. To address this, we will adjust the amount of heat timer consumed by these moves. There are definitely characters out there that consume way less heat with strong moves than other characters do. And so I'm assuming that this means that characters that don't really consume that much heat are going to consume more. Heat is obviously a very polarizing mechanic in this game, and I've seen people say that Tekken 8 would be so much better without it. And I think there's even a mod that exists out there that removes heat. I think that heat is very obviously a core mechanic of this game that the game was designed and balanced around. And I use the word balance loosely, right? It's not going away. It's not going anywhere. Maybe in Tekken 9 it'll be something that isn't there, but it's here to stay as far as Tekken 8 goes. And I think the sooner people accept that, the better we'll be, and we can try to focus our criticisms and our complaints and whatnot and be constructive in a more efficient way. In particular, high guard crush potential moves have made it difficult for the defending side to respond and often led to one-sided situations. As such, we will increase their heat timer consumption to better balance risk and reward. I like the sound of that. This change aims to move selection more This change aims to make move selection more tactical and appropriate to the situation by correcting the risk/reward balance for heat timer consuming moves. Alright, I'm here for that. Number 2, tracking adjustment for heat smash. For some characters, if the first hit of a heat smash whiffs, the follow-up attacks would still track the opponent excessively. I'm not gonna lie, Dragunov does this, Huadong is actually guilty of this as well. Certain characters, they don't at all, like Reina, who's on screen right now. Her heat smash feels like it has no tracking whatsoever. It actually feels extremely linear. And then other characters feel like they will 360 no-scope you. So I feel like they should all be super linear the way Reyna's is, and maybe that's the direction we're going in. In version 2.02, we will adjust the tracking so that if the first hit misses, the following attacks will no longer track the opponent. I'm here for that. I'm here for that. I've been a believer. I've been an advocate saying that heat smashes and heat bursts should be very linear. They should be very steppable. They're very powerful moves that should have more clear and direct counterplay, which should be the lateral movement, because this is a 3D game, and that's something that Tekken is supposed to pride itself on, is the, you know, that aspect, and I'm here for that. This aims to prevent situations where the defending player is unfairly hit despite a successful evasion, and to improve counterplay opportunities against heat smash. Hell yeah. Oh wait, is that it? Okay, no. Balance adjustment policy for version 2.03. Patch notes are scheduled. Yeah. Buffs for select. Ooh, buffs? We're still buffing? Buffs for select characters within a range that does not significantly impact overall battle balance. Buffs for select characters within a range that does not significantly impact overall battle balance. Then what's the point? If it's not going to impact battle balance, I guess they're trying to improve the quality of life for certain characters, or just normalize things a little bit more, so characters who aren't quite up to snuff. I'm still of the idea and of the belief and opinion that character power is so very, very high, and characters need to come down. I don't really think there's too many characters that need to come up. I know there are characters out there like Lee, for example, that the community is very vocal about not being too good, and I think we should bring the roster closer to Lee's level as opposed to bringing Lee up to the level, but that's my personal opinion. Revisions to frame advantage on block for rage arts in light of increased importance of counterattacks due to raised health values. So does that mean we'll finally, because this is another big thing that I've been saying, rage arts need to be more than -15 on block. I don't understand, like I just never understood the philosophy or the idea behind them only being -15. Like they should be like -20. Every character in the game should be able to launch punish you for blocking a rage art. That is my personal belief and opinion, and maybe that's actually going to be the case now in this next patch. We will continue working to improve overall battle balance and provide a better competitive environment. Thank you for your continued support of Tekken 8. And it looks like that's actually it. Okay, so obviously not super detailed. Like I said, we'll be getting patch notes later tonight, which I'll be covering again, probably both on stream and in video. I really don't like this, but you know, obviously we'll see what it actually entails and what the notes look like. There's no reason to be alarmed, I suppose, or like overreact to, you know, just that one line. But buffs to select characters in the range that does not significantly impact overall battle balance. I guess it really depends on which characters are getting buffed and in which ways they're getting buffed. Like I said, I really don't think we need to see too much more of that in this game right now, because character power is just sky high. You know what I'm saying? I've said it over and over and over again, like character power in this game is very, very high. There are no bad characters, and I'd rather see characters get nerfed in this game compared to getting buffed. I know some people still you know, abide by the philosophy or like believe in the idea of you know, we should buff over nerf. I know I would say that video has become very polarizing, and it gets looked back on in a negative light, even though people thought it was genius at the time. Yeah, so I mean, that's the policy. So basically, in short, adjustment to heat timer consumption for certain moves, tracking adjustments for heat smash, and then, you know, they're nerfing rage arts a little bit. So it doesn't sound like this is going to be a very significant patch in terms of just how much is getting changed, if that makes sense. It's funny because it feels like when it comes to season 2 itself, which I get it, it's an entirely new season, they made some really big changes, right, and gave characters some really powerful stuff, obviously to, you know, the disdain of a lot of the player base. But I guess that does make a little bit of sense, because like I said, it is a whole new season. It's probably something that they had in the works since the game came out, and something that they already had plans for, and then they obviously made some slight adjustments. My theory was that season 2, as it was, or as it launched, was basically like they already had an idea, a vision in mind for how they wanted season 2 to be. And so they were working on that and developing that, and then they sprinkled in some player feedback toward the end in order to kind of make it look like they were listening and stuff. And not necessarily to like pull the wool over our eyes, but more so just like they tried the best that they could to pivot after they had already been working on what they were doing and then they realize that that's not what we wanted. And you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? They already had something in motion, and then they realize, this might not be what they want. I don't really know if they're gonna rock with this. So they made some changes here and there, like, you know what I'm saying, like the nerfs to King and the nerfs to Jin, like that's stuff that we wanted and stuff that made us happy. But then like those characters also got buffed in ways that are like, are you serious? You know what I'm saying? Because like they were already working on those buffs, and then they sprinkled in the nerfs, and now they're taking like baby step after baby step after baby step to make adjustments to put the game in a better direction. Like these are all welcome changes for the most part. Like I said, I'm hesitant about the buffs thing, but like nerfs to rage art, nerfs to heat smash, nerfs to the heat timer consumption, like those are good changes. Those are welcome. Like I'm looking forward to that. This stuff sounds good. But again, it's like incremental. We keep getting these incremental changes, and I kind of hope that they go a little bit harder in 2.03, because even though I think the last two patches and now this third one that we're about to get today are good on paper, just from what I'm reading here on the policy, I need more still, you know what I mean? I've seen people saying things like, oh, y'all are just gonna cry and complain no matter what, you'll never be satisfied, and blah blah blah. And you know, those people out there, they're just ignorant, and I'm just gonna ignore them anyway. But I'll say this, right? If you're somebody who is willing to listen for a moment, I want you to consider this and realize this, right? People complaining and making their voices heard and talking about these things are the reasons why we're getting good changes. You know what I mean? Season 2 isn't going in the right direction now, and like we're getting these good updates for the game just because this is what they had in mind from the start. You know what I mean? They've taken player feedback and listened to the community to make a lot of these changes. You know what I'm saying? And so it's because of the outcry, because of the negative reviews, it's because of, you know, people talking about it in streams and on videos, and then obviously seeing it firsthand how it plays out, how the game's been played out in tournament is the reason why these changes are being made. You know what I'm saying? It's not just out of the mind specifically of just the people working on the game. You know what I mean? This is the culmination of the community as well. That being said, so I just watched Battle Arena Melbourne at in Australia. Great tournament. Big shout out to Arsenal and Ash for winning that event. Incredible. Had a lot of fun watching it. We saw a lot of matches that ended in timeout, like a lot. And you remember I theorized that was going to be the case based on changes they had made to the game with, you know, increasing the health bars and stuff like that, right? And we're still going to be getting, presumably in the next patch, changes that are going to affect combo damage and potentially combo length and everything. So I still don't really know how they're going to go about that, because if you nerf combo damage, that means it's going to take that many more hits to kill you, which means that many more rounds are going to go to timeout. So whether they buff pokes so that pokes do more damage or something, but there has to be something else that comes alongside that nerf to combo damage if that's the route that they're going, which it seems that's what they want to do based off what they previously said. Otherwise, it's going to be more and more timeouts. And I don't think a bunch of rounds and games ending in timeout is like hyper exciting or even really like healthy for the game. I think that sucks some of the fun and excitement and hype out of it. You know what I mean? When somebody does win by timeout, like at the very last second, it's like, oh, 21% compared to like 22, 24%. Yeah, that can be exciting, but when it's like a very common reoccurring trend, it's not so much the case, right? But yeah, this patch seems like it's going to be another pretty small one, a good one, but another pretty small one. And then I guess their big hurrah is going to be the next one. Oh wait, I'm only just now realizing I read it, but I didn't like. This is okay. So this isn't even happening in 2.02. This is happening in 2.03. So 2.02 is even smaller than I realized. Like I said, I'm sure I read this out loud, and then I didn't even like, you know. Sometimes I'm reading and I'm not absorbing all the information I'm reading out loud at the same time. That's why I go back and I'll reread and make sure that okay. So wow, yeah. So if this isn't even happening in I would hope that there's more to 2.03 than just this as well, and that this is just the tip of the iceberg, because there's no way, right? Because they said that they were going to do stuff affecting like combos, and we haven't gotten that. And okay, I could be misremembering something, maybe I missed something, but I would really hope that there's a lot more to to 2.03 than just this. And this will be coming on July 8th. So July 7th in the States. Well, I think the game is going in the right direction. I've been playing again, and I'm, you know, working on improving and getting better and getting used to, you know, the new systems and whatnot. But yeah, man, I still have high hopes for the game. I do think things are getting better, even if incrementally so. They are definitely getting better. And hey, man, at this rate, by season 4, we should have the perfect Tekken game. But now, jokes aside, things are going in a much more agreeable direction, in my opinion. You guys let me know how you feel in the comments down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay tuned for all this content when I bring you. And with all that being said, that's pretty much all I have today. And remember, nothing could happen until you swing the bat. Later.